What's going on, guys? So if you saw the whole 2-week swap of the R32, then you'll know that we got it running, and on the first drive we noticed that the speedometer stopped working. So that sucked. R32s use a cable speedometer, not an electronic like S chassis. So there's an actual cable that goes from the speed sensor up into the cluster. Well, I did troubleshooting off camera and that cable broke. If I spin one side, the other side does not spin. So somewhere in that braided line, the cable broke. Unfortunately, there's not really an easy way to fix that, not a way that I know of. You kind of just have to suck it up and pay like 120 bucks to get a new one. So that's what we did. So here it is. Here is part number. I'll have a link in the description. You guys can pick them up. Terra Firma has it. A couple other sites have it. But this is the part number for GTST for all the rear-wheel drive ones. For the GTR and GT4, it's different. I believe this too changes to a 5, but I cannot confirm that. I have a GTST, not a GTR, so I'm not trying to buy GTR parts. But this is the cable. Let's get it out. So this is the cluster side, this is the speed sensor side. If we unscrew this end piece, it comes off. This is the part that goes into the speed sensor. It has a little keyway on the bottom there, so you can only throw this in one way. And I will spin this side and you'll see that that side spins as well. So we know this cable's good to go, and it better be because it's brand new. So now we have to take the old speed sensor out. So we're gonna jack the car up and pop the hood, and we have to take the cluster out. So we're going to start by getting the cluster out. You have to take out all the screws to get the bottom plastic off, as well as the two to get the hood latch off. Then you have to take the ones for this shroud that covers the cluster, and then this comes off and you can take the cluster out. It's easier than it is in an S13. The S13 you have to drop the steering column, take out a bunch of other stuff. It's not fun. Thankfully R32 is simpler. So this right here is the Speedo cable, so we'll just pop this to the side. So now that's disconnected, and we'll have to guide it through once we go to pull it out from the firewall. Yeah, but so much easier than S chassis. And you might even be able to just take off this top part, because it has 2 screws right there on that side, 2 on the other side. So you might even be able to just pop that off by itself. Either way, it's super easy. And all the screws are the same, so I just throw them in here. The only 2 different ones are the ones for the hood latch. They're actual hex heads. The rest are Phillips. This one Phillip has a little cover piece. That's the one that goes over here. So now we're done in the interior. So this next part's going to be interesting, which we have to unbolt the 3 bolts on this piece, which are below the clutch master cylinder. I don't know if we're going to be able to get it from the top. We're going to try, and if we have to get it from the bottom, then we got the car in the air already, so it's not really a big deal. But here we go. They look like they're 10s, and there's 3 of them, so we're going to see if we can get it from the top. Okay, so I got the 3 out, however, I had to do it from the bottom. It was pretty easy from the bottom. It's going to be a little bit harder to actually put the bolts back in, but taking them out was pretty easy. So now what we have to do is just unthread that sensor right there in the middle. That's the speed sensor. And then there's a couple clips that this hangs on, but then we should be able to just pull it out. So we got the old one out. I'm going to spin this side, and you'll notice that this side doesn't move at all. So there's a break somewhere in there. Not fixable. We're just going to throw it away, and we're going to throw the new one on. So I'm feeding it in from the bottom and then coming into the cabin, and you can see it right there coming through. So we just got to feed it up, and then once we get it up to here, then we can connect the bottom side. All right, got it up there. Wasn't too hard. Now we can connect that plate that we had to take off with the 3 bolts and then connect it to the trans. So we got it all hooked up, except just got to put the bottom half into the speed sensor. I spun it to make sure that we didn't break it upon installation. Everything is good, as you guys saw, it spun. So we'll throw everything back together and then we'll go for a drive and make sure that the speedometer is working. All right, car's back together, so fingers crossed, we're about to do a test drive. Oh, just look at that, it's working. Oh, that's great. I'm so happy it's working. I don't have to take this stupid cable out again. So that is a huge relief. I'm so glad. Didn't take long to replace the cable. It took maybe a half hour, but it was kind of tricky just because the engine bay air is always so cramped, but we're good to go. But that is going to be it for this video. Like I said before, there will be a link in the description for the speed sensor cable if you guys need one. But thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.